am live. Hello, every morning. This is Love and Sparkles. I finally made it to a live. Yes, yes, yes. Um, it has been so busy, so busy. One day I had a raging migraine from the minute I woke up until I went to bed that night. All I did was take migraine meds. My newest T-shirt says I suffer from the disorder that says I speak what's on my mind and people get offended. It's like, oops. Um, Let me see. What has been going on? It has been nonstop around here. Um, it's like I've had issues. I mean, it's like my brother set me off. He just set me off because he was like went all the way back to when I got divorced and said, "Oh, you should have stopped him. It wouldn't have happened." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I say, Andy, it was like, well, how could I stop him? The man went in the bedroom, did his thing, come raving out, had a shotgun in his hand as he went out the door. I chased him out the door, and then I was doing what I could. I mean, he just went nuts. So he totally, triggered my PTSD and had me out. And I mean, I was like, not in a good place. So I was calling him every kind of craphead and all kinds of names because both me and my brother, went out to stop him. So I was dealing with that for like a week. And then he brought up my mom and her death. And so then I really was, triggered and going off about that. So I sat over here in my nice little house and I was triggered. I was like in a bad place and calling him all kinds of nasty names for doing that to me. And Sandy, tell me I didn't do anything to my brother. I mean, I didn't do anything. I didn't pull out any books or do any hoo stuff. But next thing I know, I get a call that he's had a major heart attack. So then I'm at the hospital with him with his major heart attack. And so I'm over there and I'm noticing Dad, and Dad is acting, and I'm observing that he's looking and acting like he did before he had his bypass. And I'm like, well, how long has it been since you've seen your doctor? And he goes, well, I hadn't seen a cardiologist in 6 years. And I was about flipped out. I'm like, say what? And so then I'm over there dealing with him and his VA and trying to get him set up and seen by a cardiologist. So I finally get him to see his VA doctor, and me and that VA doctor went round and round and round and round. So that's why my head's been hurting. Because his little VA doctor told me that once you've had your heart bypassed, and he's got 5 of them, you don't ever need to see a heart doctor again. And I was like, I beg to differ. I said, I'm a heart nurse, and I know you do. Because you need to have follow ups. You need to have echoes, and you need to have EKGs, and you need to be checked occasionally to make sure graph haven't gone down or that there's not further heart problems with your heart. I said, this man is acting the way he did before. I beg to differ. I don't know. I don't recollect any of that. I'm telling him about an episode he had. That little old man sitting there saying, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't remember any of that. So I'm having to go back and I say, look at that little chart you're reading there. And he'll see his doctor on in person. He sees him on a computer. I'm saying, look at that chart, that computer there, and go back to when he arrived via an ambulance around 6 o'clock in the morning. Dad's like, I never rode an ambulance, never happened, never happened, never happened. And I'm like, I beg to differ. It did happen. I know. I followed it. He finally found the evidence, and he's reading the evidence, and it's exactly what I'm saying. And then he's looking at me and he's going, I'm ordering the echo. Because he was telling me I can't refer him to a cardiologist unless I have an EF. And I said, and by tail, how are you going to get an EF without an echo or a calf test? And he's looking at me like, uh-oh, she knows something. I was so mad. Oh, done with that. I'm done with my spiel, but I was so mad. So mad. Oh, you ever had people like that you had to deal with? And this is my father. I'm like, would you shut your mouth? Because every time I would try to tell this doctor something, he's like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. I beg to differ. She's just making stuff up. I was like, if it wouldn't make me go have further problems, I would just go send you home and just go at my house and ignore y'all. But then I would have survivor's guilt if she fell over and feel really bad. It was just like, oh my Lord. I mean, is that just called old people and they don't want to deal? Is that it? Is that what that's called? Oh. And then I figured out last night during Nix's live that I had my contacts in the wrong eye. I had my contact that is actually set up to be my up close contact in the wrong eye, and my far away contact in the yeah. So that's why my eyes were like hurting so bad. My head was hurting so bad. And it's been 101 degrees. Eesh. So, ugh. And I think for my event coming up in October, I'm going to do the I Got a Secret, and then I might also do Forest Sprite because she's pretty too. So I got those two. And then I got to figure out which one's mine that I'll give away during the event. And I got the sponsor items from Dawn Calathis. She sent a beautiful box of things to give away. Y'all will love them, love them, love them. Oh, there's the kitty. There's the menace. Reason I call her menace, the other day she come by and dumped a 32-ounce glass of water all over me. But yeah, she sent a beautiful sponsor box, and then of course we got the trays from NYX. I think Debbie Day said she'd sponsor. I haven't seen anything more from her what she'll send. Pen Pal, Diamond Pen Pal, is sending a pen. And so far, I think that's all the sponsors. Oh, and Ariette is sending, she's going to do a tarot reading for the grand prize and then cards to put in each box. So, and then I went to Temu and I got some witchy stuff to put in. I got like some hair barrettes and some bracelets. I got some like journaling books. I got some like real cool placards, like 8x10 placards that you could put up and lean against your wall or something. I got a round placard you could put up. You can put that in the grand prize because it's really pretty. So I got those. They've come in. So yeah, I might do one more Temu run, and then I'm gonna probably later today. I'm gonna pull out some resin. I'm gonna go back and get my trays because I don't think I'll put flowers in it, but I'll make some of these. Have anything in there? Oh, that's what it was. So I'll make some of these. Da, 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 without the flowers. I'll make some trinket trays. And I might make some drill separators. To give away, to put in there. Oh man. But I got a row this big at the end of this. This is not a big canvas. Not a big canvas at all. It was from Craftably. And the only thing I have not liked about it is they gave me lots of drills in some colors and not enough drills in other colors. And the colors they gave me lots of drills are not the colors I need lots of colors. And I don't have enough colors in the colors I needed lots of colors. It's really weird. And so one color that I needed lots of colors And I didn't even have enough in my spares. So I just kind of had to use the same colors. And luckily, they weren't the same places on here. And it wasn't very much of it to where I had to use it together, to where you don't notice it. I mean, it was like, okay, why? That was weird. And of course, Craftably's gone out of business, so I couldn't go, hey, and it was like, wow, that's kind of weird. It's like, that kind of sucked. Oh, yeah, you're going to come up here and conglomerate on me? Be careful, big boy. Lay down. My giant dog, when he leave my side, when he hadn't even gone outside yet, and he gets up and he just stays by my side. I don't know whenever you go to the bathroom. When I go outside is when he'll go to the bathroom. Yes. This is big boy. Yeah, hi. I mean, he is just, but he's old. He's like 14 years old. And he said, I just don't want to leave mom's side at all. Okay, I'll pet you. I'll pet you. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. My arm's hurt. That's enough. So I still have the kitty in the house and the biggest dog in the house, and the rest of them are out in the backyard. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I know. So I thought I'd get on here and hop on real quick because I just haven't been real frequent because it was like, oh, oh, thank you. But I was like having to fight to even get him to see his doctor because his next doctor's appointment went forever. My sister's like, yeah, I noticed he was going downhill really bad. And my brother's like, waiting for him to die in 2 years. And it's like, and dad's giving it every excuse in the world. And that's what he did last time. And I mean, that guy's just blowing me off. And I said, fine, you want me to pull out my credentials? I'll pull out my credentials. And I started pulling out my credentials. Then his little eyeballs kept he's probably only been a doctor for 2 years. And then I started pulling out my credentials, and I was like, I was a nurse for 32 years. I did cath lab for 7. I did ICU for 13. I did ER for 5, and a lot of other stuff. I said, I'm getting the vibes. I'm worried. I want him seen. I want him seen by somebody. It's like, and I hate doing that stuff. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it more. I just really hate it. I don't like doing it. I hate it. And you shouldn't have to do that. They should listen to their patients instead of blowing you off. He goes, well, they have to have chest pain, and they have to have this, and they have to have that, and they have to have this, and they have to have that. And I looked at him and I said, and this man never had any of that, and he had 11 blockages last time. And he just looked at me and was like, oh. He's just one of them weird old men that never complain. Old people don't complain. That's what they don't understand. I mean, you get some young Generation Z, and man, they'll fall over dead in the driveway from having a stubbed toe. But old people do not complain. They will not complain. Even if they get short breath, they'll go, "Oh, it was just I wasn't ready to walk that far." They'll come up with something. I mean, it's like, hmm. They will come up with something. I mean, I sat there and fought with that man. Fought for, and I kept trying to tell him, we need to get you in the system to be seen. Blah, 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 blah. And he was just blowing me off, and I could tell it. And I finally went around him. I went and called my clinic to get into his clinic to get him seen by his doctor, and then find out to see his doctor, all you see is a damn screen. You don't even see a doctor. That kind of pissed me off. It's like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, why don't you change clinics and get seen by a real damn person? And I kind of chewed that little doctor out. I said, well, when he had vertigo and you put him in physical therapy, he said, well, he didn't tell me he had vertigo. I said, because that man don't know what vertigo is. He said, if he had told me he had vertigo, I would have treated him for vertigo. I said, he's in his 70s and he didn't know what vertigo was. And he did not know how to describe it as vertigo. His describing it as vertigo was off balance. Everything to him is off balance. I said, just like him describing his walking, he's calling it off balance. I said, but off balance is going side to side. I walked with him. I observed him as a nurse, and he is not off balance. He's weak. He takes 3 steps. The third step catches his foot, the ball of his foot. That's being, you're weak. He's like, oh, yeah, that's not off balance. I said, no, that's off balance. Yep. I mean, sometimes you just kind of rub your nose like this and it'll do it. I mean, guys are always, and they're not gentle. Guys are not gentle with their nose when they're doing that. They're like, oh, wow. And it'll pop that vessel. But I was just like, God, Dad, you need to listen. And then he goes, when he got home, he says, Cindy almost had me a dead. And then he told someone else, he said, man, she thinks she knows everything. And finally, my brother had told me, he said, she was a heart nurse and she was a heart nurse for a long time. You might want to listen to her. It was like, oh my God, Jesus. Just like when my brother had his heart attack. Do you think that old man, to the 2 men that were over there, him and another guy with my brother, do you think he said, hey, maybe you might want to go get Cindy? Because they had meds in that house that could have helped. They really did. And no one called me. No one came got me. And they put 1 nitro into that boy's tongue and threw in truck and raced. And it's like a 20-minute ride to town. And I'm like, did you not give him an aspirin? Well, I didn't know about it. I said, well, if you had called me, I could have told you. Put 4 baby aspirin in him or 1 adult aspirin. That is the number 1 biggest thing to do so it can start breaking that clot. The biggest thing. Well, I didn't know about that. Well, that's why you have me, because I do know about that. It's like, oh my God. Now, according to him, my sister knows everything because she's a school teacher. Teacher knows everything. Me, I don't know shit. It's like, and it irks me. irks me, irks me, irks me, makes me so mad. Now, my mom was the opposite. Nurse, go get her. Dad, she don't know shit. Let's go. And it really does. It pisses me off. But I was like, that's just like my mom. I'm pretty sure she died from a dead intestine, a dead colon. And I'm finding out as he talks that, oh, she'd been sick all week. Sick, 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 really bad sick with something in her belly. Well, he had called me, she'd called me, I would have taken her to the hospital because she had had that once before and it was a bad colon infection. Well, a bad colon infection, if you don't get it treated, will kill your intestines and you will die. Your intestines die, you die. And so that's probably what happened to her because if he says, do you need to go to the hospital? She would say no. And so every time he would ask her, she would say no, and he wouldn't take her. Instead of being the bigger man and saying, "Well, I'm taking you," he would say no, or she would say no. And so she said no all the way up until she died. And so I have survivor's guilt over that because if someone told me she was sick and it was in her gut, me knowing she has the gut history, I would have taken her damn ass. I would have overrode him and taken her. So it's like, bleh. And then of course I'll put this out there for the event people who pop in and out watch this. Starts because the first you can start on it on the first, so it doesn't matter how much you have started on the for the first because first is on blah blah because I don't have my thing. I think the first is a Tuesday and we'll have our first video on a Wednesday. So the first giveaway will be the first Wednesday in October. And I think the first starts on a Tuesday. Ooh, that's not good. Have they checked your magnesium and calcium levels? Sometimes that's calcium and magnesium levels. But check magnesium, calcium. Have them check labs on you. And it doesn't matter how much you've got done. And so, like at the very first day of October, I'll put up in the group, post your week 1 photo here, and then on the first live, which will be the first Wednesday of the month, we'll do the drawing for that week, and then I'll give away, do the drawing for the first box for that one, and then I have a few scattered, drawings for scattered little gifts that we'll have there in that one. And I'm just doing my drawings for gifts and random gifts and everything on my lives. And that way it's all done in one thing. Haha. Ooh wee. And then on the week 4, we'll have week 4 prize and a grand prize. And do it that way. Can't believe it's almost October already. It's like, wow. But at least this heat will be over. Oh my God. So like one more week of really bad stuff and then it'll start cooling down. Did you see the asteroid that blew up over your Tennessee? Did you see it? Did you see it? It didn't come by. It wasn't seen here. Ours wasn't one of the states it was seen, but it was seen over Tennessee. I think Kentucky, Tennessee, a few other ones. I was reading up on it last night. A chunk of an asteroid blew up Oh, it was Tennessee and Kentucky, Ohio, and they said a piece of it. It was not the whole asteroid, of course, but a piece of an asteroid broke off, and it actually hit like in the Smokies. It landed, but it come in, and you could see the tail of it as it came in. It didn't disintegrate. Um, it was like they said fire in the they saw fire in the sky, and then it got close enough. It exploded. It was like sounding like a bomb went off and exploded in the sky, and then it hit. They said it was like a 400 pounder. I mean, that's not huge considering how big they could get, but it was like, but of course it was like 1:15, 2 o'clock in the morning. But I was like, wow. They're showing. I've gotten some pictures of it on down through, like, when you go out of, like, where they're putting the news behind Google. I've been catching some either YouTube people who've gotten in and put it on their YouTube, or in there where they caught, just like it's like a streak, and then it breaks up, and then it explodes, and then you see the little tails. Like, pretty wild. Pretty wild. And then they're saying it like landed just in the Smokies. I was like, whoa, now that's interesting. I was like, dang, an asteroid hit the Earth. Thank God it wasn't any bigger. That could have caused a problem. It's like, holy shit. That was bad. That was really bad. Is it Wales Creek? You must have just looked it up. But it was like, wow. An asteroid hit the Earth? A little piece of an asteroid hit the Earth. It was like, wow. Where's Wills Creek at? And now my doctor's appointments are set up on Monday. So now I can get in there on Wednesday and not have to be trying to get to my doctor's, get to this, get to this, get to this, get to this. Nice. So it did hit in Tennessee. Yeah, because they were like saying Kentucky could see it, Ohio could see it. And it's like, wow. And Tennessee has the Smokies, right? But they were like naming all the states that could see it. And of course, I wasn't one of them. Because I had gone over and told my friend, because he used to be, a special operator back in Iraqi and, Afghanistan and all that. And I mean, when he got out, he had all those anger issues and all that other stuff. And I've been watching stuff on it. And told him, I said, back when you got out, a lot of the issues you had, they didn't. I said, they're talking about it on the show I'm watching. I said, but they're finding it's called TBI, the traumatic brain injury. He's like, what? I said, yeah. I said, when you go, call your friend, because he's talking about going and getting his disability and getting worked up for it. I said, call your friend and tell him to have you worked up for TBI. And he, what are you talking about? I said, well, you got the shock waves from all the blasting, right? And he goes, oh, yeah. And I said, okay. Okay. So it was on the wrong side. Okay. So they must have been seen from the Smokies. So he was like, yeah, I got a lot of the concussive, shockwaves from all this stuff. I said, well, they're finding that guys are coming back with a lot of brain injuries from all the concussive waves from the blasting, and that's what's causing all the anger issues, which causes them to drink, and the other stuff. And he goes, well, that explains it. I said, so yeah. So a lot of your issues you had, I said, now you've found other ways of helping you deal with it. I said, but that was a lot of your issues. And, you just, you know, the way you found was really rough, what caused what, you know, but, you can have him get it put in your record that you have that, which will help you with your disability. And he goes, thank you, I will. I said, because when you got out, they didn't even test for it. They didn't find it. They had no clue about it. They didn't know about it. And he goes, thank you. I had no clue to even have him look for that. She said, I'm glad you're watching all that. I said, I also watched this one that came up, and I don't know why it popped up. It was on YouTube, and it popped up, and I watched it. It was like an hour long show. Wow. Could you imagine me like going down Interstate 40 and seeing that fly over you? You wouldn't know what the heck was going on. But it was a training for what he did. And I looked at him and I said, all I got to say is I admire you. I don't know how you did it. I said, that was brutal. I said, that has got to be the most brutal training I have ever seen. It was 2 years, 2 years long. His training for what he did was 2 years before he got his patches and his wings and his beret. He said, yeah. He said, that training was brutal. And that's why I walk like I walk like now. He said, that's why I limp. And that's why I hurt so bad all the time now. I said, yeah, I can understand. I said, it tore your body up. I was like, holy crap. I was like, my God. 2 years, 2 years of training to be what he was. Yeah, I didn't even know about it until I was like, what? What asteroid? I started reading. It's like, what the heck? What are you talking about, an asteroid? Oh, and of course, right now. In fact, I need to pull out my stinging nettle and start eating on throwing it in my coffee again because lo and behold, it ragweed is all over. And so my poor little head is saying, ragweed's out, ragweed's out. It's like, oh Lord, help me. And it's like, mm, oh Lord. Wow, finding where everything is. Mm. So you're in Southeast Nashville. So you're on the eastern side. Ah, my nose. Yeah, I was so mad at my brother. I was like, oh, hopefully I didn't do anything to him. I didn't say any bad words. I was just so angry at him, though. Called him a couple of choice words. It's hard for me to sleep. It is so hard. So hard. So hard. And it really is so hard for me to sleep. And I did try some mushroom gummies, because they were supposed to be for anxiety. I do have to say they worked. Supposedly they're legal and they're not psychedelic, but oh my God, if the stupid VA would give me something that helped my nerves or help me relax to that point to where I'm just relaxed. Because what they give me whenever I'm like having a bad time, with dealing with those men across the street. That's all I can say. It's like dealing with those men across the street because they just wind me my brain to where it's like ready to flip out of my head. It's like they just like like when my dad tried to tell me when I told him when my sister, when she was deployed to Iraq for a year, he says she never deployed to Iraq for a year. She went for 6 months. Well, I'm here to tell you, people do not deploy to Iraq for 6 months ever. They don't. And he sat there and he got nasty and a nasty tone and was yelling at me. She deployed for 6 months. You don't know what the heck you're talking about. Just nasty. I just walked home. I was like, screw you. And I came home. And I called my sister and I'm like, how long were you in Iraq? And she goes, a year. And I was like, I thought so. And and that's what he does to me. Just like when he was like, that never happened. That never happened. And I had to tell that doctor to go look in that chart for when he was drove into that ER via ambulance from Russellville for a leaking aneurysm, aortic aneurysm. And he found it and read it. And he's still blubbering. That never happened. That never happened. No such thing happened. Not because my recollection. And that's what I'm dealing with. And he's nasty when he does it. Hateful nasty. I'm talking hateful nasty. And that's what I'm dealing with. My nerves are like, so I found these gummies, and they're from a freaking mushroom from Canada. And supposedly they're legal, but they will help you. They chill you out. Well, I'm telling you, they chill you out. I took one of them, and I was just on the couch here, and I was just like nice and relaxed. And next thing I knew, I was like in the zone, and then I was asleep. And I actually slept that night so good. I was like, why can't the VA give you something that chill you out like this? I would sleep like a baby. But I can't afford to pay what they want for these freaking gummies all the time. But, I'll take them once a month just to chill out and have a nice, peaceful, peaceful, you know. And it kind of lasts because last night I was like on the couch and I thought, I'm going to go to bed. And I went to bed and I went to sleep and I woke up at like 9:30. And I slept. Well, I'm on my Fetzima, but it doesn't help. It keeps me leveled out, but until one of them does that shit. And my dad, he's hateful. He is hateful. He will just talk nasty to you and get louder and nastier and tell you don't know what the hell you're talking about and act to you like you're dumber than a box of rocks. He'll tell you you're just dumb shit. You're dumber than a box of rocks. And I was just like, that's what I live with. Oh, that's a good blood sugar. So, I mean, I was just like, oh. And then, of course, when I tell them that I get anxiety and that these men over there just kind of try to wind me up, you know what they give me? Hydroxyzine, which is it is nothing. It's it's an antihistamine. It's what they used to give you for like when you had a stupid, you know, hay fever. And I'm like, you're giving me hay fever meds for these assholes over there? It's like, yeah, like take this hay fever med, go lay down. It's like, you're driving me fucking nuts. Fine, I'll go buy mushrooms and chill out. I mean, that's crazy though. And now I know why my mom she stayed in one room and he stayed in the other room, and she just says, I'm ignoring that man. And now I know why. Now I know why. Because he's a turd most of the time. It's like, God. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find little cool things. I got like bracelets and journals and just cool things. Oh, well, I think I want to hop off of here. Just kind of updated everybody. Love everybody. And I haven't seen you in a while, Sandy, so thanks for coming in. This way, at least people know I popped on. Love y'all. Bye. And I'll give you a new picture to see because I'll take a picture of what I just finished. And yeah, it's been hectic. I mean, it's been hectic. Without my mom around here too, and I'm kind of out here. And my kids are all involved in their life, and yeah. So I will let you go. So bye.